Hello again, everyone, and welcome. This is Kirk Laughlin from the Nearshore news desk at Nearshore Americas. We're very glad you could join us today for a special edition. Today we're going to talk about the things going on in Brazil. Brazil is a very hot market, and joining us from Brasscom, the international agency promoting the global services industry of Brazil, is Sergio Pessoa, Director of Marketing and International Marketing. One of the things we want to talk to Sergio today about is the fact that multinationals have actually been in Brazil for many years. IBM showed up in 1918. And Sergio, I want to get some perspective from you on what the impact of these multinationals is in terms of stimulating the global services industry.
Certainly, Kirk. The impact has been significant because if you look at the internal market, it's very mature. And I think a lot of that maturity has really been developed by the presence of multinationals in Brazil for the last 40-50 years. And that includes the development of management capabilities, best practices, investments in technology. So I would say it has been fairly significant to support where we are today.
Very good. One of the things that a lot of buyers often look at is comparing India to other markets. We obviously know Brazil, like all Latin American countries, is much closer than India. Time zones advantages are certainly clear. But what other differentiators stick out for you and you want to get across in terms of differentiation with India?
Certainly. I think really it's a unique combination of factors that we have to consider. I think from the environment, business environment, operational and financial comes to mind. Certainly if you look at the strength of the economy, the political stability that we have, as well as the cultural compatibility, those are very critical factors. In the operational side, the domain expertise, I think the availability of qualified human resources with industry business process knowledge are key differentiators in specific areas such as financial services. Certainly is a differentiator. But also I think the cost perspective is competitive. It's not necessarily a cost play, it's a differentiation play, but certainly if you consider total cost, adjusted for risks, for quality, productivity, that creates an environment that can be fairly competitive.
Some buyers will say that Brazil is not the most attractive market because of taxes. The currency is actually strong right now, which may be less of an advantage for global sourcing, and labor law. What's your response to some of these challenges?
Certainly those are challenges that we are facing, and in fact Brasscom works to overcome them. Part of what we do is work in a regulatory, one of our pillars, regulatory, to really help reduce the cost of doing business with Brazil. We have been successful passing some bills of law that are helping in that direction. But I think that combination of taxation as well as the strength of the real, the currency right now, presents a challenge. I think the internal market, the strength of the internal market, also presents a challenge for companies to be looking outward of Brazil, because the market is doing so well internally that with the combination of the currency and it becomes kind of a challenge.
Sure. You bring up a good point, and you look at Brazil, its global services industry. The typical CIO in the United States may not really know how many good things are going on in Brazil.
Definitely.
What are you and Brasscom trying to do to change that?
Certainly, we are working very much to position and promote Brazil. One of the key objectives for Brasscom is really to position Brazil as one of the top 3 global centers. So it really, we're going through a combination of working with decision makers, working with opinion farmers to help promote, because there are incredible capabilities internally in Brazil that a lot of people don't know about. And our job really has been to continue to share that message outside of Brazil. Brazil is the 8th largest IT market globally, so there are significant capabilities that can be promoted effectively outside of the country.
Very good. Well, we'll be watching the Brazil story closely, Sergio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.